So the short story, Mazda is definitely leading the pack with the amount of inventory it's got over its competitors, namely the Crosstrek. Even though the Crosstrek has a higher residual than the CX-30, the Mazda ain't too shabby either. Pursuing it at MSRP is definitely still a score, and getting it for around $400 a month on a lease seems to be normal on a preferred package. Now, before I dive into the long story, in the description below, you're gonna find a text summary of everything I'm gonna be covering in this negotiation guide. Diving right in. The majority of the inventory here are 2024 CX-30s. There's about 9,600 2024s and about 1,000 2023s. There are 10,600 Mazda CX-30s, according to Cars.com, data pulled on New Year's Eve. That's right now. About 8,000 Subaru Crosstreks, roughly around 7,500 Nissan Kicks, 7,100 roughly Hyundai Konas, and about 4,600 Kia Seltos. The residuals on these things are super high. 5-year residuals on the Subaru Crosstrek, about 70%, 61% on the CX-30. Hell, even the Nissan is seeing 55% on the Kicks. The preferred package is seeing 2,600 units, 1,600 on the premium. If you just go to the dealership, you'll see that there's equal amounts of pretty much the top trims on dealership lots. However, I was upset to see that there's only 600 S, but then again, you probably do want to get a preferred if you're going this far and paying this much money for it anyway. Actually, I'm curious. Let me know in the comments below which CX-30 you're considering, and if you're not even considering the CX-30 as much as you are something else, let me know in the comments which vehicle you're stacking the CX-30 up against. For the sake of tonight's negotiation guide, I've got a 2.5S preferred package at an MSRP of $30,710. The markup, according to IC Cars and Edmunds data, it's about like 2.5%. Realistically speaking, the dealer is not going to give this up. It's going to lose less than 15% of its value. Definitely solid in terms of depreciation. Something what I would consider better than average. Target MSRP. Realistically speaking, you're not going to see that fat of a discount if you do get one. Even invoice on these things, when I was getting discounts on them before, we would probably only see about 500 below that invoice, which realistically is probably like 5% of the total MSRP. Right now, Mazda is offering a 4.9% promotional APR at 60 months. And they are offering $500 if you're a loyal Mazda customer. This will apply whether you plan on purchasing or leasing. The lease program is great. I mean, relatively speaking here, don't light me up here. 64% residual at 36 months for 12,000 miles a year and a 0.00185 money factor, 4.4% APR. Now plugging in a $30,710 Mazda CX-30 and assuming we got it at MSRP, assuming we're paying just our inception fees due at start, and assuming that you've hit like and subscribe, we would be talking about $400 a month. And again, you guys, this is not including your state's sales tax. Now you can see here that a Turbo Premium Plus is going to lease out for around $485 at MSRP, while the S is likely to lease out for around $326. I'm going to give this a C- purely on the fact that this vehicle shouldn't have been more than $250 a month. I know that's unreasonable. It probably should have been like a C+ or a B-, but the fact that this small of a vehicle is leasing out at $400 when it should have been leasing out for about like $225, $250 sign and drive, that's what's kind of making me upset. What's not making me upset is that it's got a super high 5-year residual. Now, that 5-year residual applied against that $30,000 MSRP is going to land you at about a retail residual of about $19,220. The trade-in, it's going to be about $15 to $16K at the dealer. Because they're going to want to make a couple $1,000 on this thing, you're likely to see the 5-year trade-in a little bit lower than the 5-year retail. Oh, Just a heads up, by the way, in the description below, not only are you going to find a link to a text summary of the CX-30's negotiation guide, but you'll also find a link to request a custom negotiation guide prepared on the vehicle that you're considering. Right now, according to cars.com, there's about less than 1,000 2020 to 2021 CX-30s, and I'm talking about clean ones with less than about 40,000 miles. Now, you're probably going to see the average price point at about $24,000, $23,000 on a desirable like the premium or the preferred package. You guys, given the fact that this thing is leasing out at $400,000 and the used one is selling for only $6,000, $7,000 less, I'd probably just buy a brand new one, especially because it's got a promotional APR. I get it. You won't get a discount off of MSRP, but the thing doesn't depreciate and you're going to be paying less than average interest on this thing. Again, you guys, by clicking the links in the description below, you'll be able to request a little bit more information on the vehicle that you're looking at or access the summary of tonight's negotiation guide. And if you found this information useful, please consider subscribing. Thank you so much for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.